pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for the sick, handicapped, recently departed, and military personnel of our community. Roll call.
Mr. Henderson?
Here.
Mr. Petroselli?
Here.
Mr. Gallarducci?
Here.
Mr. Colosimo?
Here.
Mr. Verducci?
Here.
Mrs. Schneider?
Here.
Mr. Shashalski?
Here.
Mayor Copeland?
Here.
Solicitor McDermott?
Here.
Engineer Kovac?
Here.
I'm Joe Coward. Chief King? He's absent. Chief Costain? Present. Director Miller?
Here. Thank you. For the record, this is being shown on Zoom tonight as well, right? This is our first effort of having live back in the council chambers and trying to reach the rest of the community that wants to by Zoom. As I understand it, there's nobody in the meeting that has signed up to speak, right?
Excuse me. That's
Yeah, I mean in this.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
I believe so.
okay, visitors, Bob Pryor, please state your name and your address.
Yes. Hi, I'm Bob Fryer. I live 508 Hunter's Path, Bridgeville. That's actually in Suffolk Township. As you know, I'm very interested in seeing that the comprehensive plan is expansive enough to solve Bridgeville's traffic congestion problem. And I'll explain this drawing to you in a second. But in addition to the, I don't know if you've had the time to read some of the stuff I've been sending you, especially the stuff that I got off Data USA about the condition, the situation in Bridgeville for its residents compared to other communities. We have a lot of work to do, but if a comprehensive plan, in my opinion, is done aggressively and to totally solve our traffic and parking problems, I think Bridgeville will be able to compete with the other business districts in its own market area. But I wanted to show you something that might be a new idea to you. This center black line, that's Washington Avenue. As you know, the two-way couple has been recommended to us several times by different people. Also, this area right down here, that's the Baldwin Street area that's been flooded, and I mentioned to you before, based on the 5 bridges that the creek has to go under. And it seems that the Commercial Street culvert's the problem, making that. I think Lennon, your firm suggested a possibility of making Baldwin Street a two-way street. But at any rate, I'm suggesting, as you know, that the Baldwin Street, Barbara Road, couple for 400 yards be made 2 one-way streets in both directions. But I wanted to show you something else. This is Presley Road at the top of the hill, and this is Charlotte. I forget the name of the whiskey at Chess Street. Originally, I got a copy of a document from 1901, and originally Chess Street followed this whole pattern, and at the bottom of the steep hill, which we've all driven down Chess Street, the street was actually crossed the railroad tracks by going straight ahead. And in the comprehensive plan, since it's a theoretical hope that that's what you can achieve with the plan, I would suggest that you go back to that original plan, and you might get the money to create the second crossing to Chess Street. The reason that's important is if this is a good shortcut around the Bridgeville's traffic congestion, and by increasing the number of people that use that Chess Street route, they'll be able to take left turns into the central business district on Hickman Street, and also on Station Street. The other thing I just wanted to show you is, I just described to you the red arrows. The orange arrow is very equally interesting. Probably 15 years ago, I happened to run into a PennDOT official in front of the Holy Child Church on Station Street. And as I usually do, I asked him what he was doing. He was considering extending Station Street, which is essentially an extension of Bayview Road. He was considering extending Station Street across the railroad tracks to merge with the northbound lane on I-79. That's something else. That's another concept that I think should be included in the comprehensive plan. At any rate, if we can, by solving the traffic problem, you're going to double the number of consumer motorists that can drive in and out of this community. That means you're going to double the profits of the businesses here. And I'm quite sure the new retail businesses and stores will be waiting in line to get in here if we completely solve the traffic problem.
Let me share this with you, Bob. In addition to the comprehensive plan, we have an active transportation plan that's working jointly with that comprehensive plan. So we're looking at that individually as well as a comprehensive plan. We have
Who's working on that?
well, we haven't hired the firm yet, but we've got we have bids out, and we're going to interview the firm or several firms this week.
That's wonderful.
So we're looking at all the things you're talking about. And
They have confidence, know that Bridgeville, two businesses in Bridgeville, of course, they're not as large as the shopping centers in Colorado, but we can profitably compete with those businesses, as your city planners will be telling you, by having a balanced set of stores. And as I don't know if you got from the stuff I'm sending you, both many of the city planners who have given you advice over the years, in addition to recommending the solution to the traffic problem and providing enough parking, they also recommended building some high-rise condominiums within walking distance of business districts. Those are people that won't hop in their cars and drive to the shopping centers. Hey, thanks, guys.
thanks, Bob.
I have something off. You can pick this up.
Okay, thanks. That's all we have for this. Before we get into the regular meeting, I just want to make a comment about the rain event last night and some of our observations. As everybody here knows, flood mitigation has been heavy on our minds, and a lot of work has been put into it from the prior council and this council. And last night we got a little bit of a test. We had about an inch of rain in about an hour. And when it rains like that, every one of us run to a part of the creek, and you just hope and pray that what we're doing is working. And last night, I will tell you, our observations was very positive. The trash rack, caught a lot of debris. Some got through, but a lot of it was caught. The ball field that we lowered filled up, but dissipated rapidly within 45 minutes. After the onslaught of the rain. One of the most, for me, one of the best signs was I was leaving Bridgeville going towards Collier and looked over at the back channel, and the water was flowing there where it hadn't flowed before. And it's a tribute to the Public Works Department that took out that island of dirt. And none of us up here believe we're going to solve flooding. We're not. We can't promise that. But I think the steps that prior council has taken and what we're acting on, we're seeing positive results. So we're optimistic that we continue to work on flooding, that we can reduce the events that occur here. So please report that.
Excuse me, how big was the debris that got past the debris screen? It wasn't going to be that big.
Well, I didn't see anything tremendously large. When a rack starts catching, stuff, it's going to catch small stuff in it, and that starts to build up. I can tell you Public Works, and I don't want to steal their thunder, but today they removed some debris from the culvert, from a couple of other areas in the borough. We're working on getting a better access to the trash rack to get that out this week.
That's curious.
And we'll get a good idea of what got through in the downstream. The water looked clean to me that was flowing, so that's good. That's a good sign. Okay, regular business. I need a motion to approve the May 10th, 2021 regular meeting minutes as submitted.
So moved.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Need a motion to approve the June 2021 bill list.
I'll move. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. I need a motion to approve the June 18th, 25th, July 2nd, and 9th, and 2021 payrolls.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Need a motion to adopt ordinance number 1021, an ordinance of the Borough of Bridgeville, amending its code of ordinances, chapter 13, licenses, permits, and general business regulations, part 2, transient retail merchants, subsection 205.e, prohibited acts, and part 3, solicitation of contributions, subsection 303.g, conditions under which the permit is issued, to establish updated rules regarding permissible and prohibited days and hours during which one may or may not engage in lawful door-to-door solicitation or other covered activities as recommended by the Public Safety Committee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to adopt resolution number 2021-14, a resolution of the Borough of Bridgeville establishing fees for the filing of applications, permits, and licenses for the borough. Note that the changes are: 1, creation of park shelter rental fees for McLaughlin Run Park shelters 2 and 3 at $35 for residents and $100 for non-residents. And 2, increases transient retail solicitation permit fees to $25 per day, $100 per week, $350 per month.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I need a motion to adopt resolution number 2021-17, a resolution of the Borough of Bridgeville authorizing the submission of the sewage facilities planning module for Commercial Street Properties Plan of lot subdivision to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection for its approval as a revision to the official sewage facilities plan of the Borough of Bridgeville. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. I need a motion to authorize a disbursement of $32,857.87 from the Capital Fund, or Capital Project Fund to Brenzel Excavation LLC, partial payment number 1 for the Janeway Stream Bank Stabilization Project.
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to authorize the execution of change order number 5 for the McLaughlin Run Park Improvements Project, a ski-ready site development and paving company that adjusts quantities for bid item number 25 to reflect in-place quantities and remove bid items number 19, 20, 21, and 22 from the contract in accordance with Article 10 of the contract documents, resulting in a net decrease of $68,993.70.
So moved.
Second.
Opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Go ahead. Need a motion to authorize the execution of change order number 1 for the 2021 roadway improvement program with Youngblood Paving Incorporated to adjust the contract amount to include ad alternate number 3, McLaughlin Run parking lot paving as part of the 2021 roadway improvement project as bid, with an increase of $67,416.25. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah, I'd just like to make a note that I appreciate Youngblood stepping up when unfortunately we had some of the items kind of passed or not moved forward on. The Youngblood really helped us out on making sure that we stayed under budget, stayed within that project's goals.
Thanks, Joe. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to authorize the execution of change order number 2 for the 2021 roadway improvement program with Youngblood Paving Incorporated to include additional paving work along Bower Hill Road as part of the 2021 roadway improvement project at a cost of $33,249.60 to be paid from the Liquid Fuels Fund.
I'll make that motion, but if you permit me to make a remark on that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It took me a long time when Joe called me, the manager called me about this job. We know what Barrio Road has been doing. Barrio Road is very expensive for the taxpayer. Some think this is the last time, of course, there's 6 more roads, that I will agree on any money spent for that. Bobby mentioned 1901. I did a lot of research in 1901. How we got that road, believe me, I can talk to you guys for hours. Upper St. Clair owned a lot of Bridgeville at that time. Somehow we incorporated Barrio Road as well. I believe that good research should be done. In my experience, be born in a mountain, Monteverde, I don't think we have a water problem on Barrio Road. To me, to do Barrio Road, and I've been preaching with the engineer for the last 37 years, you need to reconstruct that from the very bottom. Now, I like the young contractor going a little deeper. Okay, let's see what happens. But if this don't work, I advise you guys to put it, close that street on both sides, put a barrier there, cement, and forget about it. Let the big boys see what we got to do with this. Let the federal, let the county, let the state come in. That's the only thing I recommend. This is too much money for the taxpayer. In a couple of years, we're going to $500,000. Come on, it's ridiculous. No engineer can come up with the solution, and I still say there's no water there. Those days when they did that, you know, people throw everything, mattress, furniture, and everything. So those things, they're not stable. But there has to be some good thought about Barrio Road, that stretch from BJ to, we're spending too much money, Mr. Chairman, on that road. Something got to be done.
Well, I appreciate your comments. I would say the condition of the road requires some repair right now. This is
No question.
relatively inexpensive, and it's coming from our liquid fuels fund. I appreciate the comments, and you know, it's something that should it occur again, we probably do need to look deeper into it. For now, I'll second.
I made a motion.
Made a motion. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to accept and pay any commission due May 2021 real estate tax collector report. I'll move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to acknowledge receipt of the April 2021 treasurer's report. I'll move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to accept the May 2021 police report.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, committee reports. Administration. Oh, sorry. Oh, I was gonna, I thought we were gonna do that in new business. We have one more that we have to get. I need one more motion. I need to make a motion to make partial payment number 1 to Youngblood Paving for completion of the 2021 roadway improvement program in the amount of $226,532.60. That's the completion of our annual road program.
That's a move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay, thanks, Bill. I don't have a whole lot. I do want to mention that the borough recently achieved a silver score on the completion of the Sustainable Pittsburgh Community Sustainable Assessment, which will help with assist the borough with future grant requests to the state. So thank you, Borough Administration, for all that work. And in addition to that, we recently received the State Blight Removal Grant Award for the demolition of the 4 condemned residential properties that have been identified borough about the recent updates. It gets sent out into the city bills. So a lot of good information in there, as well as the website. I just want to encourage residents to check out the website for ongoing updates for the community activities. Namely, that there is a yoga class in Churches Park every Saturday at 8:30. It's great. It's had a great attendance, so, and look forward to more things happening in the community. So check out the website. That's it. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Pardon?
Get to bring your own mat.
You do. You can bring a towel if you don't have one. Just do it on the grass.
Put your own pants.
Get close to nature.
Okay, finance, Joe Reducer.
Thank you, Bill. Let's see, the safety committee met again and to attend a training class on the 20th. They're on track with the committee to work on that 2022 insurance discount. So great job putting that committee together, as well as the volunteers that were included in that committee. We did have one insurance claim. We had two workers that were in an incident on June 4th that had to do with the fallen tree on Bower Hill. They were only minor injuries. One officer received 2 stitches, but the best part was there was no loss of work. So good to hear there. Last but not least, the American Rescue Plan funding. We have received notification that the first half of that funding needs to be applied ASAP. As most of the council knows, I work with a lot of municipalities and have a lot of contacts with finance directors. And one finance director always sends me information we try to share. And she had sent me something, hey, you need to get this plan number, you need to get this number, you need to make sure your borough is assigned this. I called Joe, it was all done already. So kudos to him. He's really doing a fine job there, my friend. This first drawdown is a little over $250,000, and to my knowledge, and help me, Joe, this is going towards our sewer programs.
Storm sewer work.
Storm sewer work, right. So that also helps us in regards to a lot of the capital improvements that we've been wanting to do, and we're moving forward in doing. So great job to everybody there, and again, great job on being on top of all that stuff. I did hear from a couple municipalities that they're behind the 8 ball with a lot of the things that Joe was very proactive. So again, Joe, thank you so much for what you do. I think that's all I have for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation, Joe Glassman.
Thank you, Bill. Brian, just like to thank the Public Works Department for parks are really looking good right now. On Donald McLaughlin Park, there was a note that the fees for 2 of the new shelters are like only $35, I believe it is. The reason being there's no electrical power in those 2 new shelters. So if you don't need lights, there's a good bargain price, good place to go. Our committee met last week actually regarding start of work down at Chartiers Park. We want to get rolling on this project. So I have a motion. I would like to have authorized the advertisement, placement of bids for improvements at Chartiers Park that will repair the stream bank, complete the grading work necessary for the new playground equipment to be constructed adjacent to shelter number 1. That's down under like a grove of trees down there. There's a real small specific playground equipment down there. The thing we've chosen will really look nice. And in addition to that, we've, the engineer and Joe have gone to the CoStar program, which is sort of like the COG in that they do group purchasing and whatnot like that. And we've decided that we would like to get a playground unit for that park. It's very nice. We build a nicer community. Units are pretty much like some large tower slides. Big neighbors right there, as you can see. We're not quite sure about the color of it yet, but that's what we'd like to get done. The price of this thing is $215,000. So I've But that's what this stuff goes for, you know. I talked to Deborah about it. She said back in her days, it cost $300 to get a seat for a swing. So, I mean, this stuff's expensive. But that does include the safety padding. We'll have that rubberized safety padding down there. And I think it'll be great for the park, great for the kids, good for the community. So if I could, I'd request a second to my motion on that.
A second, no.
All in favor?
Okay.
Opposed?
I just wanted to add that it's all ADA compliant,
Right.
so we're just saying.
That's all I have.
Opposed, okay, motion carries. Yeah, one second. Parks are looking good. I had a chance to go through Laughlin yesterday, get up to the water, the shelters are beautiful. Are we, I'm assuming we're gonna put power in those at some point?
Yeah, down the road, you know, it's down the road a little way, but yeah. I think so.
Public Works, Nino.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Actually, you have the reports here. Right now, we're busy cutting grasses and so forth. What I really like it, what Joe, our manager, is doing now, he have the first cross training since I've been for many, many years on our public work employees, on the backhoe and everything else. So I thought that was absolutely needed. I've been mentioned it for a long time. And you mentioned the removal of the lot of the back channel that also was kind of held the public working on that, but because that's been talked about many times. And it costs a lot of money if we would put that on there, a lot of money. But it was done right. And the rest, you got the report there. Public work, they always say, keep the grass short and the maintenance or whatever. Thank you.
Thank you. Public Safety, Bruce Gallagher.
I don't have anything.
Thanks, Bruce. Mayor, Betty Hope.
On June 5th, I officiated a wedding at the First United Methodist Church. On the 12th, attended the memorial walk for Emma Shaw, which was well attended. And at some point, the family hopes to present a lending library and a memorial plaque in memory of this child who passed away from mitochondrial disease. And the walk on Saturday was to help raise funds for this disease. She was 11 years old when she passed away last year in February. And on the 13th, I presented a proclamation to Richard Dillon Chapel, Eagle Scout of Troop 2. And that's it.
Thank you. Police Chief Chad King is absent. Solicitor, Tom Miller.
Thank you. I don't have anything to add to my written report.
Thank you, Tom. Borough Engineer, Dave Coe.
We submitted a report June 9th. I'm happy to address any questions.
Any questions for the engineer?
Yes. Is there a proposed start date for the Janeway project? We're still working through some utility conflicts with the water company. We're trying to get the schedule and we should have one by towards the end of the week here. Thank you.
Any more questions? Okay, Fire Chief Ray Costello.
Thank you, Council President. Month of May, Fire Department responded to 30 calls for service. The only other thing to report, we are going to continue the food truck Thursday from 4 to 8. That's definitely going to go through the month of September, maybe into October as well.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Southbridge EMS, Dan Miller.
I'd like to report.
All right. Bridgeville Historical Society, Mary Weiss. Do you have anything, Mary?
Our program on June 22nd will be The Life and Times of Andrew Jackson, presented by Jack Puglisi, 7:30 at the Chartiers. No programs during July and August. Thank you.
Thank you. Bridgeville Library Representative.
Thank you. Yeah, I submitted the written report. Just to reiterate, we did start summer reading and summer programming today. We have a combination of virtual and in-person stuff. So we hope you come visit us. And we just recently restore Saturday service hours. So we're open 6 days a week now, almost back to pre-COVID service. So thank you for your continued support.
I think it was great that the school was involved in doing that storage.
Yeah, we just added it. If you saw in the report, we added a brand new shed. It's gorgeous. So you can drive by and take a look. They did
What
a
are you
great
going to
job
be
on it.
keeping in there?
It's for the friends of the library. They're going to store all of their used books in there to accommodate their used book sales.
I could use some room in that thing, you don't mind me?
And what are the COVID restrictions at the library?
The only thing we still have in place, I mean, we have plexis up at the counters, but we are still requiring a mask to come in, but otherwise we're pretty much back to pre. And then once the mask mandate lifts, we'll probably lift it as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bridgeville Parking Authority representative, I do not see anyone here. Do you have any comments?
I have a couple comments. They have been giving us a report over the last few months. And it's good to know what's going on a little bit with the parking authority. However, I was a little disturbed with the reports for this past month. One of the things that we found in their list each month is the parking authority continues to remain as a self-sustaining entity, which is great to hear. But I have some concerns as far as meeting minutes that we got from the April meeting that I guess were already voted on, because I was told that there's signs already put up, that they're changing their hours, that they're going to be charging people for parking from, what was it, 8 to 6?
9 to 6.
9 to 6, and now they're moving them from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. I'm curious, number one, if our restaurants know about that. And I'm also really concerned that we're always talking about bringing people in. We didn't even have a public discussion on this, or did anybody know other than getting this report? Is anybody aware of this? And the second part is they're promoting their whole system with the app, or using their parking meters, using the app or using credit card payments now instead of it being the dollar and then charging on the app, I think, a minor fee, which I understand that because that pays for the service. But now the minimum is $2.50 instead of $1. Really struggling with that. I understand maybe the concept is people don't normally stay there more than an hour. It's more than an hour, so why don't they just pay the $2.50 up front? I'm really struggling with that, because what happens if somebody needs to go to Bridgeville Appliance for 15 minutes, $2.50? I'd like to hear some comments in regards to this from the parking authority, maybe invite them to the meeting and explain the reasoning behind this so the public knows. I'm actually, and I invite everybody else, I think we should go and listen at the parking authority meeting on their reasoning behind this before we start getting yelled at about it. When we, again, the parking authority is a self-sustaining entity. That seems a little drastic to me, 150% on the electronic payments when everybody pays by app or by credit card now. So I needed to make that comment. Anybody else welcome? Nick, you were talking about it as well. You're welcome to. But
Yeah.
I really think that we need to have a major conversation with the parking authority, at least to be able to say when the residents come and start yelling at us that the parking is too much, especially the businesses, we have to have some responses on why they're doing it.
I have a comment. We have invited them to attend this meeting every month. And for the last several months, we've been asked to submit any questions that we have to them prior to it. Now, this would have been an important issue to bring up and discuss openly. Because we are the ones that will face the music.
Absolutely.
And so I agree with Joe. I think we definitely need to get face-to-face with the authority and have some discussion about the impacts that this may have in our community.
I I believe, I think Joe's absolutely correct on this comment, and we're gonna hear some big problem from the restaurant and from Bridgeville. A month ago, I talked to the chairman of the parking authority. I said, I tell you what, that's not right what you are thinking to do. Rescind that idea and try something else. I think we, of course, I'm no lawyer, everybody knows that, but we have an attorney over here, which he knows the regulation between council and parking authority. We should look into that. I know we are responsible for all these things in some way, somewhat. I could be wrong. We have the legal department over here, so you can correct me. There's something gonna be done. If it's a management problem, I don't know what it is, but the payroll is high, it's over $140,000 a year. I mean, I don't know. You heard that quotation, some is rotten and never.
That's right. Well, the timing of it seems really inconsiderate as well. You know, we're just coming out of a pandemic, not quite there yet. And now we got the threat of a toll bridge on 79 that's going to cost people another $1 to $2 to even come to the community. So
I think they should cover the sign.
I think they should, yeah.
I think my concern is stress through all doors as well. I know businesses are feeling it enough as it is.
Right.
The restaurant industry specifically, most of these businesses right now are not open Mondays. They're not opening until 3 or 4 o'clock. So now you're telling these businesses that you're going to force an increase in parking that they have to use from the parking authority in their peak hours. I'm sorry, there needs to be some sort of public forum where the businesses and the community needs to be able to stress their thoughts and opinions as opposed to just what theirs are for keeping their business running.
You know when the next meeting is, Joe?
Next Monday.
Next Monday.
It's
a public-
7:30.
It's going to be in public. I mean, we'll be allowed in, because
Sure, Bill.
they've been closed to public.
I don't see how.
What's public meeting?
It's a public meeting and someone.
Well, like we did though, I remember how we were doing COVID.
During COVID, were they meeting in public, or I mean, in private? Or were they televising their meeting?
They met here and locked the doors.
Yes.
They took action here somewhere, with these rates.
Oh, I can say general answer to Mrs. Petrocelli's question is that generally speaking, they are an authority and as long as they exist, you have the power to appoint, etc. Having said that, also subject to the Sunshine Act. And in order to take lawful action, although they don't have to do resolutions, authorities act with, or ordinances, they do resolutions to pay the title, but they have to be done in public. That is a Sunshine Act compliant meeting.
And I wasn't referring to them not doing that. I'm seeing the April minutes, and unfortunately I could not go to the meeting.
Your comment?
And concerning the parking authority, Mike Conley told me a couple of weeks ago that in regards to that vacant property on the corner of Washington Avenue and James Street that the doctor purchased, that I guess has been unable to negotiate a fair selling price with him, so they're going to take action and force him to sell the property to the authority. That's what he told me a couple of weeks ago, whether that's changed or not.
Yeah, financially, I don't know if you can afford it.
And that's the question I sort of have. I mean, what they're doing, I don't agree with either, but just reading the April minutes, evidently they've been losing money the last several months. So I don't know how bad off they are, or are they in trouble, or what's going on with that. But, I mean, there's another way to do it, I mean, as far as just dropping it on people's heads. But, I guess we have to go to the meeting and find out.
I think so.
We could call a meeting with them.
Well, go to their meeting.
Okay. Let's move on from that. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate the comments, Jim. Regional Planning Commission representative.
Basically, the only notes we really have to report is, we submitted our questions for the comprehensive plan for the preliminary, the pre-interview, I guess you want to call it. And then we also decided that we're going to be in person as well.
Same thing, quasi Zoom and public.
Yeah,
Yep.
same thing.
Back here,
That's it, is that about the main things, right?
pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay, Borough Manager, Joe Powell.
I've nothing to report unless anyone has any questions on my written reports.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. Under new business, we have a discussion on McMillan Street, temporary experimental fire lane regulations. We authorized that previously in a resolution number 2021-13, and I think we need to consider action this evening, whether we're going to move forward with adopting that ordinance and advertising. So I did talk to the chief this morning, and he told me that he has not written one ticket that people are in compliance, they're not parking there, and so that has served its purpose. And me personally, I believe that it's something we should move forward with to make sure that that space, those spots remain open for the fire truck. I'll entertain a motion if you all agree. So move.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Anything else under new business?
I have one. So the Bridgeville South Fayette Rotary is having their first annual trivia night this Saturday. Plenty of people have seen, I'm sure, the social media and heard this guy here talking about it almost every meeting. But we have 2 or 3 more tables left. It's down at the Bridgeville Fire Hall. Lots of fun going to be had, especially with a lot of good, tough questions, but a lot of easy questions too. Mike Tolmer might even be able to get one right.
I need to get a team. I think a team.
I will figure it out. But yeah, we actually even have a team of 3 or 4, so we can add a few people to that team. So love to see more people come out. It's for the Rotary, a lot of great causes. We have a lot of different things that we're putting towards the money that we raise. An example is something that's hopefully coming in the future is a walking park book story. What's it called?
Story walk.
Thank you.
Yeah.
A story walk. We're helping with that, which is going to be a great. We're going to do some help with them and the Boy Scouts and the Friends of the Library, but also maybe try to help financially as well for the project. So a lot of good things going on at the Rotary. And this Thursday, if anybody's interested, the Chamber is actually visiting the Rotary meeting to get to know what the Rotary does. So anybody that would like to come, I think the Chamber's last day of reserving a spot is tomorrow. So if anybody's interested, feel free. But it's going to be held at the Walnut Grill in their room in the back. All right, I'm done talking. Sorry.
Who's the MC?
Who's the MC? Guy who really knows his stuff. And the only reason why he's volunteered to be the MC so he doesn't look bad and not know one question or one answer. So.
Anything else under new business? If not, we adjourn. Yeah. We have a motion to adjourn. 1 second. All in favor? Opposed?
Mike Shakes.